Do you have any difficulty filling the MOH clearance form as a nurse or midwife trained in Ghana? If you have answered yes to this question, then this video is specifically for you. Here, I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process of filling the MOH clearance form online. So if you think this topic is something you're looking out for, then why don't you come with me as we look at that. Alright, my name is Esnak Majma. You can simply call me Kobby. I'm a nurse by profession and a content creator by passion. If you have been following the public notice that were issued by the Ministry of Health Ghana somewhere in December 2023, you could testify to the fact that nowadays the MOH clearance form is back online. What this means is that if you want to buy one of these forms, you don't have to go to the Ministry of Health way back in Ghana to get that done. You can sit at the comfort of your home and then fill the form. So that's what I'm going to teach you in this video. So the question is, how do we start? The first thing we have to do is to get the right link to get us onto the Ministry of Health website. So let's do that. So I've got the website. I'm going to paste it right into the search button. I'll leave the right link to get you to the website in the description box, so check it out. Alright, so this is the official website to the Ministry of Health Ghana. The question is, what do you do from here? Just come to this menu, click on that, and then choose register. At this point, we're going to create an account with the Ministry of Health. So all you need is your name, your telephone number, and then your email address and a password you can easily remember. So now let's do that as quickly as possible, and then we can continue. And then you type your telephone number. Probably if you're outside the UK, you should have your Ghanaian number, so you can use that for these pushes. And we would have to create a password. Remember to write it somewhere so that you don't forget. So once you've entered all these details, the next thing you have to do is to click on continue. So it says registration successful. Here we're going to log into the portal to help us access the international clearance form. So all you can do is that you can log in with your email address or your telephone number. But here let's use the email address. And then the password we created. And we click on sign in. Okay, so here is the MOH Recruitment Dashboard, and this is where the magic happens. Now at this point, what are you supposed to do? Before I say that, listen to this.
Hello, are you struggling with IELTS preparation? Are you looking forward to tapping into the practical video lessons on the reading, writing, listening, and the speaking test? Do you want to master how to answer 2 or 3 question types at a go? What I want to say is that Kobby's MasterClass has you covered if you have answered yes to all the aforementioned questions. Check in the description box of this video to join the class, or for further inquiries, use the email on the screen. Hope to see you there.
Alright, welcome back. So at this point, what are you supposed to do? So if you are seeking to buy MOH clearance form for verification, all you have to do is to come to the third option, which is international clearance. Once you select this option, you'll be asked to do one more thing, which is to buy a clearance application form online. So here you can make payment through MTN Momo, Vodafone Cash, Tigo Cash, Airtel, and whatever. So whichever payment you think is appropriate for you, you choose as such. And then remember that whether you are choosing MTN Momo, Voda Cash, or whatever, you should have an amount of money which is worth 500 Ghana cedis in there, because they are going to deduct this amount for you to be able to have access to the application form online. So in this column, you have to type in the Momo account number. Then you click on make payments. Okay, so once you make payments through Momo, you see a dashboard like this, and there's an option for you to apply now. So what we're going to do is that you just click on apply now. The first part of the form is to enter your personal details. So you've got to enter your first name, your middle name, and your last name. And right after that, you've got to upload your passport picture. And when you come down here, you've got to enter your age, your email, and then your staff ID, which is very important. And if you are married, you choose the marriage status. If you are single, you choose the single status. And then there's an option that says choose profession. Probably just have to choose the category you belong to. Now once you are done with that, you've got to enter your current grade. So the question is, if you're a staff nurse, are you a senior staff nurse? Are you a nursing officer? Are you a DDNS? I mean, just specify your current grade here, and then you move on to the last station as well as the present station. So this appears to be a bit confusing for most people, but let me just take my time to explain. Your last station is the place you last work. So let's say you've traveled abroad, you're no more working in hospital A, that happens to be your last station, and your present station is where you are still working. But what I can say is that if you are still at your present post, just make sure that at the present station you are writing the name of the hospital, and then the last station you type the same hospital as well. But if you've traveled abroad and you are seeking for this clearance, the last station should be your option. You just have to write the name of the hospital you last worked with. And when you come down here, you've got to state the address of the last or present station, the postal address, which I believe you know. And then if the facility has got a telephone number, you can state that here as well. And then the applicant's telephone number, which happens to be your own telephone number. And then when you come down here, you have to specify the number of years you have served after your last training. And when you click on there are options for you to choose from, or you can just type how many years you've trained. And then when you move on to the next section, you've got to type your Ghana card number and then the purpose of clearance. So here you can say for NMC verification, for studies abroad, or whichever reason you think befits while you're applying for the online clearance for. And then move on to the educational background. This happens to be the section B on your MOH clearance form. So here you've got an option to choose the program you studied. So if it's registered general nursing, you choose. And then also choose the institution where this program was undertaken. And you are supposed to specify the date you started with this program and then the end date. And you could see that I've got an option that says nature of sponsorship. So the question is, you do have to sponsor yourself? Did your parents have to sponsor you? Did the government have to sponsor you? So whichever category or whichever one you think befits you, you choose. So I was sponsored by my parents. My parents paid my school fees. Okay, so that's the general idea. Now you could see that I've got an option that says add more. So let's say you did further up to do your degree. You can click on the add more and then state the program, the institution you had a degree, and then the start date as well as the end date. You can add more and more depending on how many educational qualifications you've had. Now once you are done, you click on next and then you move on to the next session, which is your work experience. So here it doesn't appear to be very difficult to fill, but let's go through it as quickly as possible. So you've got to choose the facility. Here I've got New Tafo Government Hospital, and then the department, which is Department of Nursing. So once you click on this box, you get a drop down menu where you can choose the preferred department. Okay, and the other thing here is that you'd have to write your place of work after training. So you've got from first training to fifth training. What does this mean? So the question is, after your national service, what was your first place of post? That happens to be your first training. So you just have to state that as well, and you state the date with which you started as well as the end date. But let's say you are in this same hospital but you move from the Department of Nursing to, let's say, general surgery, you can state the start date as well as the end date, and there's an option for you to add more of that. Okay, so now once you are happy with the work experience, you move on to click on preview. So here you've got access to all the information I have typed. You would have to go through to make sure that every information here is right. If you ever bought the paper clearance form, you could testify to the fact that it's not so much different from what you are seeing on here. So here there are three different declarations. One is for the applicants, so you have to sign and then write your date. And you've got one for your head of last station or present station. So this person has to certify that you were once a staff nurse or you are still a staff nurse in that station. And then the last declaration goes to the head of your school. So right after going through all this information and then you are sure of yourself, the next thing you have to do is that you would have to print the form and then send it to the head of your present or last station as well as the head of your school. I strongly believe that this video has given you a bit of insight about how to fill the MOH clearance form online. If at this point you have not subscribed to my channel, please endeavor to hit the subscribe button and also make sure that you're liking this video so that YouTube shares it to as many people as it can. Hope to see you in my next video. Thank you very much. Bye. 编织我的幻想，点点滴滴的过往。